Good day everyone. Today me and my partner Miss Jasmine Tate will be reporting about Module 12, Teaching for Thinking. So for today's objectives, first is to explain the significance of thinking skills. Second, discuss the significance of each thinking skills that enhance the way students process and integrate information. Third, the four types of knowledge as applied to instruction. Fourth, discuss the principle and guidelines in teaching higher thinking skills in the classroom. And lastly, to prepare learning activities that match the different levels and categories of thinking. For most of the teacher's task in educating process is to provide a learning environment that will develop the thinking skills of the learners. For the Ways 1916 statement about thinking skills, he said that developing the learner's ability to think is the highest goal of education. This happens when teachers will explore, question, take risks, and experiment in creating varied learning experiences for the students. The idea is to enhance the students' thinking skills and to train, test, and enhance the intellectual aspect of the student to think faster when facing obstacles that can help them in the future uses for real-life situation. But what is real thinking means? So there are three philosophers who define what is thinking. First is Arendt's 2004, who defines thinking as ability to analyze, criticize, and reach conclusions based on sound references or judgment. Arendt defines thinking as a way of thinking critically, and that is applied when you are in a certain situation, like when you are going to choose in between two things. That is one important to you, that you're going to choose one of the subject, you're going to lose something, same as the other subject. In this situation, you need to think and weigh the situation carefully and critically which one you will choose, because both of the subject you're going to choose can cause you an arm and a leg if you fail to choose correctly. So you need to think critically to come up with best conclusions. Second is Rogero 1988, that defines thinking as a mental ability to help formulate or solve a problem, make a decision, or fulfill a desire to understand. It is searching for answer or reaching for meaning. So for Rogero, thinking is a mental ability, which means that every one of us acquired thinking skills that help us to solve and formulate how to solve a problem, may it be for educational purposes or for real-life situation. It helps us to understand the situation and searching for our inquiries and seeking our answer to define the meaning of our unanswered questions. Third is Martorella 1994, that defines thinking as a pattern typically followed in solving of problems, engaging in thinking and processing information. So for Martorella, thinking is a way to process information and solving of problems. The next one is what are thinking skills. This is the effectiveness of instruction is anchored on the thinking skills engaged in by the learners in the classroom. Lettery 1985 identified 7 thinking skills that will enhance students' processing and integration of information. First is the analysis, the ability to break down information into component parts. Analysis, analyzing or weighing out things before deciding. And in the process of analyzing, your brain would work and think thoroughly that the information would break down into components to find the right conclusion or the right answers for your questions. Example, if you are in a situation that you are being called unexpectedly by your teacher about the discussion and your teacher asks you a certain question about the topic being discussed, you would analyze the question first before answering it. Throughout the time, your brain is disseminating the information already and process it to produce an answer to your teacher's question. Second is focusing, the ability to select relevant or important information. In this situation, your brain will only choose information to store, only those important information. Third is comparative analysis, the ability to select the correct item from several alternatives, comparative information, and make proper sources. This happens when you are comparing and analyzing few things, just like when you are in a store and buying goods. You saw 2 products that caught your attention, but it is what you need, but your budget is for one item only, so you need to choose which one you should buy. Fourth is narrowing. It is the ability to identify and categorize new information through its attributes such as physical characteristics, principles, or function. Narrowing is the ability to identify and categorize the new information by describing the attributes of the things, object, or person. For example, you meet a new person when someone asks you what is his name, but you could not answer because you forgot to ask his name. So instead, you describe his physical appearance. Fifth is complex cognitive, the ability to integrate complex information into existing cognitive structures or long-term memory. Sixth, sharpening the ability to distinction between cognitive structures, including old and new information. And to avoid confusion and overlapping, if you have a sharp memory, you can remember everything, including the old and new information, without confusion and overlapping of memory. 7. Is tolerance, the ability to monitor and modify thinking of unclear information. without getting frustrated. Example is when you are very loaded with experiments at school, still you did not stress out about those requirements, since your brain has the tolerance to clear the unclear information that helps you not to be frustrated with the piled up projects. The next topic will be levels of thinking. In Bloom's taxonomy of thinking skills, which provides a direction to teachers in planning instruction by introducing the 6 levels of thinking. Knowledge. This level students is required to remember and recognize facts. This is to ask students to recall, define, and recognize the topic that has been discussed by the teacher on the previous topic. Second is comprehension. This time, students expected to translate, interpret, and explain given information. Third is application. Students are given generalization and they are required to apply and explain them. Fourth is analysis. Students are required to break down complex information ideas into simpler parts. Fifth is sentences. Deductive and inductive thinking fall into this category, from where the student takes some parts of previously learned information and create completely new products. Sixth is evaluation. Students are given tasks to quality, credibility, worth, and productiveness. Students thinking at these levels provide evidence, logic, and values of support in conclusion. Simpler forms of these 6 levels of thinking are the following. Knowledge, for short, is to remember, recall facts, and basic concepts. Comprehension or understand is to understand and explain ideas or concepts. Application or apply is to use information into new situations. Analysis or analyze, draw connection among ideas. Sentences or create, produce new or original work. And lastly, evaluation. This is to justify stand or decision. My topic will end here as well as my video presentation. Thank you for listening and give time to watch my video.